Okay, so looking back at your preliminary task, what do you feel you have learned in the progression from it to the full product? For me, the preliminary was a base for building and learning new skills. I feel that I've grasped various planning, filming, and editing techniques, and I'm sure these skills will be improved during the final production for filming, and I can reflect that they were.
Looking back at the preliminary task that, obviously that we've done, I have realized that we did our best for the first time of filming that we have done, right? And I personally think that we have followed, used and obeyed the shot reverse shot, the 180-degree rule, much on action, in order to make the video successful and interesting. By doing the preliminary task, I have understood that without research and planning, it's quite hard to obviously film, as you don't know what you're filming, and it makes it harder for yourself to achieve the criteria. And things like the storyboard and the script are really useful and should be used, as they help the director to lead the actors and tell them what to do next and what they should say. And while working with my group, it was really hard, as we all had different ideas that did not quite match together. And after having a few meetings that we did, our conclusion was to try and combine the ideas together and come up with one which will make it easier for us to start the filming, as the most important part of constructing the video. There needs to be a narrative, the story that makes sense, but also other things such as the shot list, the concept, which will make it easier to direct while we film.
And I can see that the planning is crucial in creating a smooth production process. The research is very important part of this. Without it, I wouldn't have appreciated the effects of shots, the group meetings, and the intricate process behind a clip of film. Any production needs shot ideas, shot lists, storyboards, and scripts. Without them, the filming would become a complete mess, and it'd be time consuming. Because you'd have to sift through every single shot to find the right one. There'd be confusion within a company, which could lead to disagreements. And the post-production would become cluttered, and it'd need a thorough review on what to keep, what to chuck away, which might lead to us having to refilm. The group meetings were essential to make sure everyone understood what stage they and others were at in the making of the preliminary. When it came to the full product, Lookout Productions.
Yeah, we also had different ideas of the titles, such as Unexpected, or what was the other ones that we did?
The Forgotten.
Yeah, which wasn't that perfect as Lookout Productions that we chose.
And the group meetings were so much better compared to our preliminary group meetings, because we'd put in so much more detail because we'd had practice with the preliminary. And unfortunately, our group in the preliminary needed to refilm because because in our ignorance we didn't really put enough effort into planning or our group meet.
We didn't really care about all that storyboard, and it made it harder for us to film.
Yeah, exactly, and that meant that so many important areas weren't considered, like weather, filming time, continuity, the space in the scene, the surroundings. And the weather,
angles that we could use, the movement of the camera, everything that we missed it out.
Yeah, and the weather was sunny, and the next day it was raining, so we
couldn't film.
We didn't take into consideration the change in continuity and pathetic fallacy and all that. And we didn't plan ahead in order to stop us from refilming again. And we had to rush our filming because of the time we wasted and the lack of planning we had.
Which made the editing become worse.
And this mistake, it really helped me realise how essential planning is needed for filming. And when it came to our real media product, The Forgotten, I planned the days that I could film, if the weather was appropriate on those days, what time in the day to start, and what time virtually at night when to finish, how long the shots should take, all that kind of stuff. And without the preliminary mistakes, I may have made this type of mistake for the real media product, which would have heavily impacted our production, and it wouldn't have helped at all. It would have been really bad.
Yeah, when constructing the preliminary task, we have realised that sharing roles is also really important, as one person cannot be responsible for everything.
No, it's too much.
In our group, we have decided to make each person responsible for something. So, for example, I did the editing with Veronica's help, and you did the filming with doing and the script with Anna's help, but also Anna and Veronica had to be actors because we couldn't find any because of the short time.
And we didn't plan as
And
well.
also me and Anna planned a bit, did a bit of storyboard, and this way it makes things even, and the group can be like together, and everyone can get equal marks for constructing the task as well as the final production.
Exactly. And the script and storyboard, they were keys for communication in the group. Because they stated like what order the shots would be in, where the camera would be, what shot types they were going to be, what the actors would be saying at the time,
What angle we should use.
Yeah, the continuity of the shots as well.
Because you see, like in preliminary tasks, we only have used. You see that long shot we used when Anna or Veronica is walking, right?
Yeah.
Then in final production, we realized that we actually needed to take that shot away and do a shot of different angles. So when we filmed the final production, we made sure that there is angles included.
And with all this stuff, it really helped our understanding together of the production as a whole, because we knew what was going to happen when, you know, where it was going to be, all that kind of stuff with the planning. And creating the script and storyboard for the preliminary was really good practice for our real media product, because it was a starting point to improve my skills. Like when I revisited my skills for the preliminary, I realised that the filming and script were very basic compared to our real media product, and I've greatly improved my filming and camera techniques with more practice and a wider understanding of shot types, with the camera, the tripod positions and practicing of filming. This process also challenged our communication skills when working as a group. Like, not everyone would agree with each other's ideas, having different opinions, and this prepared me and Patricia for our opening sequence.
As well as Anna and Veronica.
As well with their own production, because we had to make a product that appealed to both our interests, which promoted our teamwork and collaboration.
I found that the preliminary task was quite easy compared to the final production that we did, as it didn't have to be long, and it was a simple story of basically someone walking in through the door and having a chat with the other person. While doing the preliminary, we all realised that we had not used enough shots. We didn't use enough angles. We kept some of the shots too long, which made it boring for the audience to look at. The sound wasn't clear, and some of the shots were not good, which made it hard to put together when editing. The task also helped us to find out what Logic Pro and Premiere Pro is all about, as we all had to use it in order to put the clips together and construct the whole product. From there, it was much easier to construct the final piece, as we already had some experience from doing the preliminary task.
And although, just going back to editing, I wasn't involved in it with the preliminary. I got more involved in it with the final, but not as much.
But you still tried your best to help out and give your ideas.
And it helped me have a greater understanding of editing and what Patricia does, like how to move clips and merge them together. Like,
it was quite hard to figure out at the beginning.
Using cross dissolve and fade to black, like I found out when transitioning clips and also watching Patricia, and the echo effect I did with the mid shot of Marlena. That helped the clip seem distorted, and also even in filming I began to plan for Patricia and take into consideration the techniques that could be used in editing and stuff, and more shots to provide her with more material. And concerning the final product, I can see improvements that we could make. We could introduce the characters faster and in more depth through more variety of camera shots and angles. We could make it more suspenseful through the introduction of the characters, possibly involving a flashback to display short scenes of the female characters' backstory and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's all true.
Yeah, so
thank you for listening to our evaluation.